of your own experiences and your own moments. Today, we have a crazy idea that I would like you guys to look into this and see how does this works out for you. What we are going to do is we are going to talk about a different topic, and today it's called as de-habit. Okay, not the habit, THE, de-habit. And here, let me show you the screen. So, de-habit for the damp. And in this de-habit, I would like to tell you one small story before we go ahead. And I'll give you the task of the day. And then probably in less than 5 minutes, you should be able to make 10 ideas. And today I'm also going to give you my reflections or my way of doing things. I'll give you my 10 ideas, how I have done this. And I thought the best way to tell you is, how many of you guys know that there is a session in the morning called as victory time? How many of you know this? Okay. So victory time is something that starts at 5 o'clock and it ends at 6:30. It's a 90 minutes session and it's a very crazy session. People made fun out of this. People, when the first time added, they heard about it, they started to laugh. This does not work and all those things. So let me tell you what happens in victory time. Victory time is something where we do our own task for 90 minutes without a break. Okay. And in this 90 minutes, there is no coach, no mentor. You are your own mentor. You know what to do. And the only criteria is your Zoom camera should be on. No talking, no chatting. The chat is off. The mic is muted. And you are able to see other guys. You are allowed to do anything. You can move around. You can do whatever. You can do exercise. Whatever you want, you do it. But make sure your camera is on. So when your camera is on, there are a lot of things that you become super conscious. Are koi dekh raha hai? Yes or no? And that are koi dekh raha hai is going to make you something called as self-disciplined. You don't do many things. Yes or no? So there is a beautiful saying when they say, when the cats are away, so when the cats are away, the mice play. So you do all the nonsenses when the teacher is not there, or when your parents are not there, or when your people are not there around. Right? So here, when the camera is on 90 minutes, you are able to see other people are working. At one point of time, you feel self-embarrassed and you also start doing something. And that start of doing something itself is a great thing. Correct? So this is what we learn from from our parents. We see what they do and we follow what they do. Correct? So the same thing I'm doing here. So in victory time, why I did this? Because I was, I'll not say I was lazy, but many times I was not having a kind of a framework of how to start my life. And it was deteriorating. And I'll tell you, overstudying is also a kind of procrastination. How many of you know this? Overstudying is a kind of procrastination. You feel like, nee, unless and until I finish the book, I'm not going to do that thing. Na book finish hota hai, na kaam shuru hota hai. Yes or no? Yeah. So, yeah, many of my books are unfinished. So what? Jitna सीख लिया है, बाद में जाके पढ़ लेंगे. It's okay. So, yeah, so there are many areas where procrastination has its own form in 2023. And one of the procrastination was there. I was not able to wake up at a particular time, finish certain things, and I needed some me time. And I was not able to squeeze out, and I was working for multiple companies. See, when you are a top level guy, you have to handle multiple things which are not there. And you are trying testing many things. You are trying testing different meetings, proposals, systems, and process, which might not work also. Yes or no? Correct. So it is more of a trial, hit and trial, hit and trial. And that was exhaustive. So I thought, let me do something. So here is what I did. The first time when I did victory time, okay, I actually took money from some four people. I said, okay, we're going to do. So along with victory time, also I added many other things. And it was a kind of a small program. Now these guys paid me some $1,000 or whatever. Now look at this. The moment you take 1 rupee, you are a slave. Do you agree? How many of you agree? The moment you take 1 rupee, you are a slave. Now, since I have taken 4,000 rupees from these 4 people, I have to wake up before them. Hello. I have no other choice. Did you get my point? So I started waking up at 4:30, half an hour to do my morning stuff. And 5 o'clock, I'm there on screen. So that habit was a very powerful habit. And I understood If you want to grow in your life, just take 1 rupee. You will be accountable. You need to give that service back. And that guy can scold you, they can do anything, they can praise you at their own will. But you have to work under their will. Yes or no? So this is another thing. The more money you take, the more slave you are. Yes or no? No, there is a technique that I cannot teach you here. It comes in fest. The more money you take, your job, your engineer. So today's task is something about like that. So I'll tell you where I was investing my time. My time was more invested in reading nonsenses. My time was more invested in listening to many people and trying to get something, but I was getting more confused. Okay, and I'm not telling anyone is good or bad, but everyone has their own perspective to do things, and with so many perspectives I was directionless. But it took more than 7 years of my life. Yeah, it was very, very bad. And I spent a huge amount of money because each one has a new perspective and every perspective looked very lucrative. Anyone gone through the state what I'm talking about? Every book was like, okay, you can win. Acha, badhiya hai. Oh, you can win in 7 days. Wow. 7 principles of good life. Wow. Monk who sold a Ferrari. My God. How did it do? So every book was like, ye book mere liye hi hai. That book is for me. That course is for me. Anyone? Hello? I kept on buying, 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 buying. Instead of self-help, it became a self-massacre. With so much of self-help book, I was like going nowhere. And then one thing helped me in my rescue is the moment I stopped doing that thing. Okay. The more payload I had, and I had to climb a mountain. How do I do it? Throw off. When you climb a mountain, even one water bottle is going to be very heavy. Yes or no? So I need to take off this. So those things, those people who taught me 7 habits, I deleted all 7 habits and I created my own habit. Okay. They said, wake up in the morning. I woke up at midnight. They said, you need a peak performance routine. And I did something which was my peak energy routine. Did you get my point? I found when my energy is high and I can do any goddamn thing at that point of time, it was not early morning. I found in an urban area, there is nothing called meditation. There is some kind of a noise going to disturb you. Okay. If you want to do meditation, you have to go to a jungle. In jungle also, it is a noise. Right. So I found that this is not possible. Today's session is purely into a different thing. So the task that I'm going to give it to you is something which is ulta. People talk to you about habit formation and they talk about another nonsense which is called as 21 days of formation, which does not happen. You just mentally feel good that acha 21 days mein ho jata hai. Aisa nahi hota hai. Okay, so habit does not form. Habit is a slow inclusion of something every time, okay, that reminds you. So habit brings you a discipline that you don't like, and it becomes unconsciously in your everyday routine. Yes or no? What is discipline? Discipline is forcing yourself to do something. Wake up on 4 o'clock, meet this guy, be like that, come like that, finger on your lips. Hello? How many of you guys have gone through this? Okay. Why do you need to put a finger on your lips? If you can put that kid in an understanding that if he talks something, what will happen? Why are you making him shut down? Because you are training a labor to keep quiet, so not to raise their voice. It is that actually you are doing in the factory-based syllabus of our child education. Yes or no? Did you get my point? Bachpan se agar finger on the lips, so definitely he'll never rise. But today in 2023, I'll tell my teammates, please tell me what are the areas you found a loophole? Because if this guy has found a loophole, that can drain a huge amount of my company's money. I want someone to be the person to ring the bell. Did you get my point? So finger on your lips does not work in 2023. You need to shout out. So that's why the people who are teaching this is wrong. How many of you guys are with me? I'm just giving a normal thing. You can debate on this probably. So today we have a different kind of a task, and the task is called as identify a thing that you think is a habit of yours that is slowing you down. Okay. Find out that one habit that you find it is slowing you down. Okay. I remember one of the habit was spending more time with my friends. So when I spend more time with my friends, more time, एक genuine time होता है, एक standard time होता है, और एक more time होता है. So when I spend more time, I was really doing things. And when I had one of my mentors, he says, Amit, you are as good as the 5 friends of yours. And I was exactly looking. My friends were directionless. They were into some wrong deeds. They used to, deviate themselves from what they are doing. And I saw they were, investing their father's money into something which is not required at that point of time. And that is what. So find out the 10 small things. First, to find out one thing. So I gave you my example. I was lazy at one point of time. Not lazy, I was exhausted at night. I did not want to wake up at morning. I did not have a me time. And I was spending more time with my meetings were very long. Sometimes the meetings went around 3 hours, 4 hours, going, traveling. These are all certain things which was one of the habits, because I was habituated that you need to wear a goddamn blazer, you need to get into a cab, you need to go and meet this guy. And that's the kind of a traditional mindset I had, that I have to go and meet this guy on his side and at his own time. And it is good that he can make me waiting for 2 hours, 3 hours in that couch outside his, building or whatever it is. It was a different thing. I was mentally habituated with those kind of, the formats. Now, what are the 10 things that you can do to take down those habits in a week's time? Good one. Okay. What are those things, or 10 small things that you can do to take down that particular habit in a week's time? So give me 10 steps that you can think of. Yeah. So that's the entire thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to also show you the reflections from my side. 1 second. Yeah. So I think this is a very powerful topic, and you should write it down. Like, what are those things that can change that habit? Some people, I had a habit of not speaking up. Okay. Amit, can you do this job? Okay, sir. I never said no. Okay. That was a bad habit also. Yeah. To say no, I should know. So people kept on dumping their work to me. It was, in one way, it was a good in disguise. I want you guys to write down 10 points. So these were my 10 points of how to start the dumb mastery and how do I start the victory time. This was my points. So I want you to write down this. You don't have to look at this. This is my thing. I'm telling you, whatever I am telling you, Dada has already done this for more than 2000, 2500. Ye to recorded hai. And there are probably 10,000 days that has gone without any record also. Because that time there was no Zoom. Yeah. So write down your points. The more you write down, the more better. Because when you write down, you are not only remembering that point, you are putting your logic and thinking and processing on this. Your mind has its own algorithm to figure out things. And this is a prescription that you are prescribing for yourself. I think that is the best way. So this is my thing. So how did I started this paid victory session? Number one, the first thing I did is I had to set my own alarm way before other one. So till today, I am the first one to come into this session. Do you know that? No one has broken my record till bar. I have to come to the first one, right? And then plan what I would do in that 90 minutes. That was the second thing. Third one, reminding my accountability partners. Yes, no one is going to be your accountability partners. You need to remind them, hey, buddy, tomorrow morning, can you come down? I want to practice in front of you, or I want you to show you something. And your accountability partner need to be pampered, need to given gifts with. Many of my people, they come to, role plays and all. They say, Dada, there is no one. Why should be there? I mean, tell me one thing, we have something called as a dojo play, where you need to do a role play with somebody else. And many people say, come, Dada, I'm not finding my partner. You are not finding your partner because you are invisible, my dear. In 2023, there is no client coming and walking to you and kissing you. Please understand that. If you are not seen, if you are not a delicacy, no one is going to come to you. Yes or no? How many of you guys are getting some powerful information here today? Okay. So if you want accountability partner, you want a client, make sure that you are pampering something. Give them something of curiosity. Give them something of an amazing result. Give them something that they can use for their life. What can you do there? So when you come for role play, we teach you how are you going to invite? What are the things you have to do? So these are things I learned, and then I created a complete system out of it, which is called as Fest. Okay, how can you make people engaged and informed before you even meeting me? Just imagine you are meeting somebody random and you are meeting somebody fully informed of who you are, where you are, how much you charge. So when you have so much of information, there is technically no resistance in closing a deal. Zero, like this. Next, I kept a daily monitoring 90 minutes chart. So I have a chart. I don't know if I can show you this. So I have a chart like this. Okay, it's a 90 minutes chart which talks about every minute by minute bifurcation of what I'm doing. At least not minute, it has got some blocks, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like that. And there is another notebook that I manage and maintain, which is always at my arm length. Okay, there are two books. One is Bhagavad Gita, and there is one more which I type in every day. Okay, not type in, I write down all my stuff. So the next thing is Bhagavad Gita. BG is Bhagavad Gita, filling up water bottle. So these are associated tasks that I do before even coming to victory time. So at that point of time, I'm doing many other tasks. So simultaneously, so when I read my victory time, there is a jug that is getting filled. One page I read, the jug got filled. I filled up other bottles. So simultaneously, there are multiple things I'm doing also. I sacrificed my morning rituals and I changed into something else. I had to shift my morning exercise also. Yeah. Earlier, I was almost doing like 1.5 hours of morning routine exercise, deep exercises and all. But I shifted that to a different time zone. I kept a separate notebook called as Victory Time book, like this. It's there with me. It's a diary, and I write every day. Okay, I don't write affirmations. Affirmations are completely something I don't agree on these affirmations. I write my two finished tasks, and I write the name of those people who are supposed to finish those tasks. And I'm sharing you some very core things that I do on that particular time. Um, a self-assessment scorecard. So, another thing is you need to score yourself, like how much you have done, how much you're spending, how much you have to do, who is going to do that stuff for you if you cannot do. Can you automate that? Can you outsource that? So that's something which is done in a self-assessment chart. And people, if you are interested, I'm planning to do a complete course of this 90-minute structure, which will take almost like 2 hours for me to tell you how each and everything works out. Yeah, it's a paid session. If you want to know more about this, you can type in victory time question mark. I can tell you about how it works out. And that is something that we are going to do over a recorded structure. So there is no live session happening. It's a recorded thing. I'm going to record this. And we are looking at people who can do all those parts also. There are a lot of opportunities we can also figure out for him. Kept a failure fee. Yeah. So this is also one thing that I did is I kept a failure fee. So if I fail, I put a fund there. So there are two boxes. One is called as a prize money. One is called as a failure money. Failure money goes for something else. Prize money is something that I can use. So for prize money, yes, there is a prize and there is a destination. I have pre-decided it. That can be anything. Might be a headphone. Okay. So let's say the headphone is 5,000 bucks and your prize money is 500 rupees. I mean, 5,000 rupees. So every time you fail, 500 rupees goes to not the prize money, but the failure money. So you don't get that. So it is up to your own way. I mean, how you can be so self, what should I say, self focused so that you can do all those divisions here. At every month, I had one-to-one with my accountability partner over a coffee. So my accountability partner was my mentor. And every month we used to have coffee over a phone. So he is like 5,000 kilometers or 3,000 kilometers from my place. He's having coffee there. I'm having coffee here. It's a 1 hour, very deep. He's just listening to me. And I'm just, telling him what all things I have done and how did I go through. So that is my way of doing the 10 points about how I rectified, my laziness and other kind of nonsenses that I was doing. Yeah. I was reading too much, I was studying too much, and I was not focusing on serving the right candidate at the right time. And that is called as money now principles. So the moment I changed into money one day to money now, things completely changed. Did you get my point? Okay. So I'm telling you, reading is not bad, but reading something which you can't implement right now so that you can't make money is something which is really not going to be working for you. What is the point of having so much of gyan, but you are still not having money to feed your own stomach? So what is the transcendence that you got today is, how many of you guys found today's topic is a little different? Okay. People teach you about making habit. I'm telling you how to break that habit, how to break that, the traditional things that has been a myth for you for so long. So the transcendence is this. Okay. Deconstructing speed breakers habits to installing accelerating scalar habits. So how to break those habits? Find out those habits, and what you're going to do is we're going to invite some people out there. You can come on screen and you can share about one thing. You can share only one point. What was that limiting thing? What was that limiting habit? Okay, how to overcome that? Just give me one point. I think we are good to go. So I'm making the points unmuted, and people who are watching this on YouTube, if you found this is very interesting, this is something that intrigued you, and you want to be a part of this family, figure a way out how to connect with me. By the time, how do I know that you are liking this? We have gone through so far. So give me a likes, and probably if you have not subscribed, you can subscribe. Free me there, okay? I'll be very soon charging about all these things. Yeah. So yeah, you can unmute and you can share your thoughts. You can come on screen, write down your name so that people know who is up front and who is next. Go ahead. Just type in your names, guys, and you can come on screen and share your thoughts. Yeah, unmute yourself and you can start. Go, quick. Just type in your names first.
So Dada, I really found this topic very interesting because
I can't see you. Okay, 1 second.
Hello.
You're muted. Yeah. Can't see you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. So I really found this topic very
I think your bandwidth is low, so you can switch off your video and you can talk. No problem. Yeah, in the meantime, other people can write down your names. And it is important for you to write down your names. You know why? Because जिंदगी में बहुत समय आपके पास opportunity रहेगा, लेकिन time नहीं रहेगा, or might be some other things. If you have not written your names, in 2023, if you are not somebody who can go and grab the thing, then people are going to come and grab it back to you. Get my point? Okay, all bad things are going to come back to you. So write down your names so that you start at least learning that this is also a limiting habit. Naini, why I should go? Let other people go. Yes or no? It's a limiting habit, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah. So very interesting topic. Actually, there are not one, there are many things that stops us. One thing that I would like to talk about, trying to do a lot of things at one time. I think that really distracts because you're trying to finish multiple things, thinking that you'll be able to do it. But then, the quality of one thing probably reduces. Even it takes more time because your time is distributed among 5 things that you're trying to do. Might as well just do one thing in lesser time and then switch to others. So that I am trying to practice more because there are a lot of things that we have to complete in a day. So, that sometimes it's actually not fruitful. We think it is, but it's not. So that's one thing I'm trying to correct, actually.
So according to Robin Sharma, he says, if you are somebody who has to do a lot of work, then select the work which is the most difficult, most hard, and you hate to do. I think you should do the something. So, and he calls it as eating the frog. Okay, that is his word. Okay, and there was another question. So, Dada, everything is a frog in front of me. Which frog to eat? Everything is important. What do I do? So the answer is eat the most ugliest and the most untidiest frog. That is the first thing, and the most clumsy looking frog, you have to eat that first. The big one. Just imagine eating raw frog early morning. Yeah, it's nasty. Good. Go ahead. Next person.
Yeah, Dada, the habits, making habit is getting easy like things, but breaking it, and you have actually taught us how to break that. That is actually a realization for me. It is not that easy. Like to break it, but you gave it stepwise, like eating the elephant in smaller pieces, so you will be able to do it. So that is what my realization.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Nandakumar. Let me tell you, there are a couple of processes which the so-called urban world is learning, and some of the processes are typically taken from. They think it is taken from Japanese, but Japanese have taken from Vedic sciences. For example, the concept of Kanban, Kaizen. How many of you know this word? Okay, these are Japanese words. So they say, if you are addicted to Coca-Cola, okay, then people are forcing you, don't drink it, stop one day. It will never happen. So here is how you to do it. Drink Coca-Cola, but leave the last part of it. Can you do that? So today you leave 2 spoons, tomorrow you leave another 2 spoons. By that, slowly and gradually, one point of time, you're going to do that. Yes or no? So that's how you deconstruct the existing habit. And, but again, it depends. There are multiple ways. So I have a lot of stories which I can share, but I will take more time of yours. Go ahead, next person, Gopal.
Dada, yeah, this is a very good session to understand our existing habits, just like recycling bin and our laptops or desktops. The habits which we really don't want, we need to remove. I mean to say, remove in the sense, uh, reprioritize. Actually, which is really helpful and which can give you the real results. Not the ones simply sake of reading books will not help. Being on social media, I learned few things once I joined this community, especially working, our usually videos are watching first, rather than going to social media, just change your habits to right direction so that you will have a right results. That's what I understood today.
Great. I don't think so. Social media is bad. It is what you watch determines.
Yeah.
So today, earlier I was to say like, okay, your decisions decides your destiny, which is true. But today, before your decisions, what are those things that is something that comes to you before you decide? These are called as decision limiting factors. Okay, that about what you are reading, what you are watching, with whom you are talking to. If this environment is not correct, you are typically prone to decide something which is not appropriate. So non-appropriate decisions leads to non-appropriate destiny as well. Good. I think that is a good thing. Thank you so much, Gopal. Anil, go ahead, buddy. Then we have got Chetan bhai.
So good morning, all. Recently, the past few months, I have it is one of the I can say that is one of the learning phase where I have gone through the multiple physical problems. So I know that things that meant so many some points are there that uh, I have to be overcome through that. So I have to be. Some situations are not sometimes that is not under your control, but I have to be managed. Many of the points I have to be organized. Many of the things that because then only I can be such. You have mentioned many of the sequence wise. So I have to be do like that only. Then only I can be in a good shape and good position. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right. I can see. So give a big round of applause for Anil because it is not easy for him to come and attend today. Let me tell you this. Okay. I don't want to disclose why, but sometimes when you pray too much to God, God give me strength. God is not going to give you strength. God will push you to more bad situations which you need to come and make yourself connected to. Yes or no? The moment you ask God, मेरे को power चाहिए, अजब power चाहिए, लो मरो. He's going to give you all the nonsenses out there. So still, he came here and he showed up. I think this is a platform where we love to have those people. I know what Anil was talking cannot be done in 30 seconds. He was talking about something which needs an entire hard talk of around 5 to 10 hours. I know that, right? He wanted to share many things. And I think as a family, this is also the Dhammastris culture that we absorb what you want to say. We learn it. So today you are watching me talking about, but we have got everything where we give you areas where you can openly share your heart also. So this Friday, you are also invited to something called as Heart Talk. At night, 8 o'clock, it's going to start. There is a person going to share his entire thing. It is like an autobiography. First time you are able to see this guy, you'll be learning a lot of things. And these autobiographies are original, and the author is not dead. The author himself is going to talk about it. So when you learn from people's life, I think there is no book in present world who is talking about human life of living people. That's all dead people. Everyone talks about those guys who are achievers. Yes or no? You will always have people who are copying achievers or learning from achievers. But there is always a guy who has came second. People don't remember the second guy, but the second guy also knows and put that equal amount of effort, right? Okay, why not you learn from him? How does failure look like? What he goes through? How is the personal situations? What is the social different kind of stigma and the stimulus they get when they don't compete there? How they get into that defame part? How they get disappeared? And there are so many other things. Even though this person has put his entire life to it, how many times you can do that? So there are a lot of amazing stories. I would request all of you guys to come and witness one of the stories which is happening this Friday at 8 o'clock evening. Awesome. Let's go to the next person, Chetan.
Hello, Dada. This is Chetan here. For me, today's it was a completely new insight because I never look into that the issues or small problems or small habits which is taking most of my time. While you speaking, when you mentioned that a learning, so for me that was one a very strike down that I waste my more of the time is basically unwanted learning. And trying to practice them. Basically, I just learning something ChatGPT or something new coding in that what to do. I waste a lot of time, which is not useful. Basically, I remember that many times that you also mentioned delegate the work if it's not related to you. You need to utilize the time properly. So I take it down my small things that which is to I become more overwhelmed. New learning, new experiences, but it is not to my goal oriented. Where my goal is, it is not related to that learning. So I'm going to cut down my learnings very specifically, which is not related to my goals. And that is the point at which I'm taking and going to cut down more and more on that learning part, which is more important. Only that learning has to be taken care of. So, and I seen the same right now, which has impacted me on the face from last 2 weeks, because I started to take something new learning and it was completely stopped my face. So that is the realization that which has given me in your talk today, and the exercise which you have mentioned. So thank you very much and thank you for this community.
Awesome, nice, good. So the moment when you realize and you have done your own introspection, I think that is the best coach, best mentor, and best guru in the world. Yes or no? Is your own self. Because if I say something, I will just be pushing. But people don't like pushy guys. Yes or no? So when you do this kind of an exercise, who is pushing you? You. And there is one more thing, your regret. Your regret. So there's a beautiful thing in between fear and regret, and that is where business happens. So that's a great thing. So let's end the entire session with Abhijit sir, and then we can plunge into our action points. Go ahead.
When the topic started, I actually tried to avoid it because there would be several things and I'm unable to think. That's why the habit is still persisting. But then I found that opportunity to cut it into pieces, as you always think of eating that elephant piece by piece. And when you said 10, I was actually shocked because I would either throw it out or I will just think of 3 or 4 things hardly. But I could possibly write all those 10 things. And even if it had given 15 things, I would have been able to give segment to that particular thing into that. So that is a great thing. And definitely more learning is coming through, which would be broadcasted today in my UCLA video. Thank you.
Nice. Great. So with that, let's end today's session. And if you guys are watching this on any YouTube or all these things, give me a thumbs up so that I understand that you are reading it. Write down in the comments box about what you feel about, what was your realizations, what was your aha moments. Are you someone who is looking at all this other kind of things which drills down your time, or you are learning about something like this, where you are not only watching other people growing, but you also get something called as the conformity inspiration that, okay, so many people are doing something good, why not I also plunge in? And if it's just that is just something, you need to take certain actions out there. One of the things that I would like to share with you before we go ahead is mastery is all about subtraction. Mastery is all about subtraction. So what are those things that you are going to subtract? Might not be fully, there is no deadline कि आज चलो आज के बाद smoking नहीं करेंगे, ऐसा होता नहीं है. Okay, there is no definite day. Okay, आज के बाद से मैं I'm not going to spend time on XYZ other nonsense. No. So it has to be a gradual thing. You cannot come out of it immediately. It will be very painful. And that's why you need this kind of deconstructing habits kind of a sessions where you go through and slowly you come out of it. And there are many things pulling you down. You might not know. Okay. So recently I would also admit that I was also addicted to smoking. I started smoking very late in my life. In the second COVID, when everyone left smoking, I started smoking. And I understood whenever I am bored and I need a 5 minutes break and it is cost effective with only like around 20 bucks or 30 bucks, that was the only repute to me. And I found that this kind of 5 minutes, 10 minutes break is something that makes me, if I'm like too stressed or two things, we need a kind of hard out. So we changed the entire dimensions. So rather than smoking and now stopping smoking, I started working on what are the areas which is instigating me for smoking. That can be a lighter also. That can be a guy with a smoking cigarette. So these are small instigators, or probably the key stuff that I just pushed it out. And I'm glad to tell you that it's been like more than a couple of months. I've not touched it. And I see that nothing is a habit. You can break the habit, you can make the habit. What you need is a super conscious awareness stage. And that's what I'm talking about. So I hope this Dhammasty gives you a lot of power and a lot of areas to, for your next venture and next endeavor. With all that, all the powers, I want you to kickstart your day. And remember today, it is all about now. 2023 is now. How can you get result to your clients now? And you should KNOW that. That is where it's your money. That's where your salvation and everything. With that, let me take a break here. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow in the next session of Dhamma.